Hello, hello, and welcome back to Unfuck Your Money. I am your host, Nadz. I am a somatic practitioner and a money coach, and I'm so happy to be back here on the podcast. I took a month break. It was unintentional, honestly. I would have told you had I known, but what happened was that I was traveling in Jordan for 3 months, as you know, probably. I was in Jordan for 3 months because I was receiving neuro rehab because I had a neurological infection, and I've been back here. It's been a month, and honestly, the past month hasn't been as smooth as I was hoping for it to be because everything about our house held unhealed memories of when I was sick. Every nook and cranny in the house reminded me of when, at a time back in February, when I wasn't able to use my hands, when I wasn't able to walk to the sofa or walk to the bathroom. It was like, even though now I did 3 months of neuro rehab and I would say I'm like 95% recovered, just with some residual weakness in my hands and my fingers, but everything else is fine. But what happened was that my brain wasn't catching up with my body. Anytime I would think about doing something like grabbing a glass of water or going for a walk, my brain would scream, "No, you can't, danger. Remember last time you tried to do that? You were in this position, you were sitting on this specific couch, you weren't able to do it. So don't even try." And I have to like gently go back and remind my brain every single time that yes, I went to Jordan, I healed, I can do it, and then I show myself that I can do it. And it took so much time to do that. It really, really did. It took so much effort. It took away all my creative effort. So that's why I've been silent on here on this podcast. But I'm so happy to be back. So now, 4 weeks later, I've been back for 4 weeks. I am happy to report and very thankful to report that I have been doing much, much better. And honestly, what helped me was many things. So I'm very excited to share with you some of the lessons that I learned from having a neurological infection for the past, it started in February and I would say it ended now because of, physically I was fine to travel and I came here, but emotionally, like I was saying earlier, that took a while to catch up. So, what really, really helped me was tiny micro goals. So this literally looked like, can I walk to the neighbor's letterbox? So again, like I'm able to walk, but it's my brain that was just like, you can't walk, you can't do this. And the emotional resistance of anxiety, I would get panic attacks. Anytime I would think about going for a walk, I would get a panic attack. I'm like, okay, cool, no worries. I get this. I know I can. But let me walk just to our letterbox. And I do that. Let me walk to our neighbor's letterbox. And I do that. And then, okay, great. Look, you can walk. I talk to myself, not out loud, not out loud, just to myself. Can I walk to the next letterbox? Can I walk to the next letterbox? And sometimes after the third or the fourth letterbox, I would feel like, no, I can't. So I would walk myself back home. Gradually, I just by using this letterbox method from like micro goal to micro goal, I was able to do a walk around the block. Now, thankfully, I can go longer distances without feeling any anxiety, without feeling fatigued, and I'm really, really thankful for that. And the thing is, like I said, it wasn't my ability to walk, but it was my state of crippling anxiety. It was my freeze response in my nervous system. And rightfully so. What I went through was quite traumatic, and I did not shame myself for feeling this way. Yes, I did get frustrated at times. Yes, I needed to coach myself more and more and more during the days where, things felt off, and I'll get to that later. But the thing is, it was my freeze response. And many, many of us have the same fear-based relationship with money. When you know you can, but your mind doesn't believe that you can. This usually comes from having past negative interactions with money that left a not so great imprint on your nervous system. It could come from your old money story, your whole entire relationship with your money actually is based on that blueprint on your money story. It could be due to past scarcity, emotional neglect in childhood. It can happen from many, many different ways. And you know me, I am always going to encourage you to heal from your past to move forward. I really, really encourage that. But the fact is, nothing will heal your relationship with money like taking action does. And by action, I mean letterbox to letterbox, micro, tiny actions. Okay. Because if you work with me or if you work with someone on your money stuff, it's really important to go into the past and do the somatic release, do the somatic healing and all that stuff. But what really is going to show your nervous system that it is safe to move forward is through taking action. Okay. And this looks like setting money goals that feel 90% doable. So simple. So some of the things that I learned on my journey with Guillain-Barré syndrome is that healing is not linear, neither is your money growth. So I took many days. So now we're like flashing back to when I was in Jordan. It took many days for me to feel stronger. Initially, I booked my trip for 5 weeks, and then when I saw the neurologist there, I saw my neurophysical therapist. I realized that it's going to take way longer than I would have liked it to take. So I extended my trip to 3 months. So with my so Guillain-Barré is an infection. It's an autoimmune infection on the peripheral nerves. So literally, my nervous system, like I was literally dealing with my nervous system. What happens is that it hits you for 4 weeks and then your body starts to self correct, luckily. But what really like accelerates the healing process is neurophysical therapy, right? So at some days I would feel great. The next day I would feel fatigued. I would feel like sensations that made me feel like I wasn't progressing. Okay. And that's the same when we are doing the money work. Some days you might feel great, and other days you might slip up, or you might revert back to your old money story, or you might go back to old habits or patterns. But the thing is, um we need, for our to heal for financial healing to be successful, what we need is to build financial safety. Okay, because it's not a straight line. Like I was saying, my healing was not linear, neither is financial healing. Sometimes we go back into fear spirals. Sometimes unexpected expenses happen. That doesn't mean we're failing. It's just part of the growth arc. Okay, so the thing is, I luckily I had a really good physical therapist, and you can use this episode as me coaching you. The thing is, it's not about the day by day, it's about the overall trajectory. Okay, not the daily fluctuation, sorry. Progress sometimes feels invisible until you look back. I look back remembering, I kept a diary every day going like, today I felt this, today I felt great, today I felt like shit. So if I were to measure on a day to day basis, it was really, really hard. But when I look back, I see that I was actually going towards something and I'm there now. So always remember, even if you've got hiccups, even if you've got unexpected expenses, it doesn't mean that you're failing. Just keep going, keep going, keep going, day by day, keep going. The other thing that I want to say and share with you is that the nervous system needs safety before strength. Okay. I could not rebuild my muscles or push into going to breakdancing again. I'm back, yay, until my body felt safe enough to begin moving. My physical therapist played a very big part in this. She would coach me to start very slow, even slower than what I wanted. So what we did was we wrote down like we started off by very basic breakdancing moves, and then I would show her a video or like explain to her how this move went. And with her expertise, she would break it down into like micro movements so that I will build the strength. For example, if I were to do top rocks, there's a lot of like bouncing on my tiptoes with that. And I could not get up on my tiptoes because with GBS, with Guillain-Barré, what happens is, the peripheral nerves get infected, and there's muscle dystrophy. So I had to rebuild my muscle my muscle, like quite literally. So she would sit me down and we would do toe raises while I was sitting down, and then progressed into toe raises with like weights on my lap, and then very gradually, I was able to do toe raises standing up unassisted. And then slowly we began building up towards doing top rocks, for example. So when we have a past with money, when we've got an unsavory past with money or money trauma or whatever you want to call it, the way to achieve your money goals has to start with the tiniest, safest money goals, right? So just like the letterbox thing. So let's say that you have a goal to save $10,000 or $1,000. We need to build safety first. Just like my physical therapist built a baseline of safety in my body, you need to build a baseline of safety for you, making sure that your bills are covered. The other thing that I wouldn't have done on my own is that she really celebrated me when I had the small wins, because I would be like, oh, okay, yeah, great, I could do that. But she'll be like, no, you need to stop and celebrate. And that really, really instilled a lot of safety and a lot of confidence in my nervous system. So safety first and strength later. You need to anchor your nervous system with small, consistent financial practices. Like I said, making sure your bills are paid, celebrating when your bills are paid, just like really let it like take, you don't have to like go out for drinks because you paid your bills, like you can, but I'm just saying, like, just take a moment, pause, and let your nervous system absorb and understand what you just did, that you're taking care of yourself, that are you capable of taking care of yourself, that you are safe. Okay, so maybe tracking your expenses might be a big challenge for you. Maybe do track a couple of expenses and then see how your nervous system feels, anchor that in. Okay, that creates sustainable expansion, that creates sustainable growth. Okay, remember the letterboxes. The other thing is that resilience, financial resilience, is actually built in micro moment and not in the grand gestures. So my healing did not come from a magic pill. It did not come from one magic treatment. What really helped is the micro moments. Each step I took, each toe I lifted, each thing, like each rep I did with the dumbbells. That is actually what healed me, and it took a long time. Same with financial resilience. It's not just about the big wins. Do not underestimate the power of celebrating the small things. You know, don't wait until your big launch or your big raise or for you to like put that 10K in the bank. No, I want you to please celebrate every micro moment. If you pause before spending, if you when you forgive yourself for slipping up, if you put $20 towards your savings account, all of that really counts. Like, honestly, like before my Guillaume Beret, I used to celebrate the micro things, but I used to, like, a part of me was like, yeah, whatever. But now I really cannot tell you enough how important it is to celebrate the smallest steps, because that is what's going to build that resilience. Okay. I know this sounds like it's slower than you'd like, just like I wanted to do top rocks and break dance and like right off my bed, right? But having that support really helped me break down the goals. And because she's experienced and she's a neuro, like she's a PT, her expertise is in neurological issues, she knew how to break things down. So you can grab my free program, 5 days of money magic. I'll pop in the link in the show notes. That breaks down my methodology of healing money wounds and healing money blocks. So my financial healing method is all outlined in that program, and I do go into details of how to break down your financial goals in that program. So grab it, it's free, it's great. So to wrap this up, Guillaume Beret told me that healing is possible even after the scariest incidents or ruptures. The fact that I can actually say the name, yes, I speak French, so that it's not because I can pronounce the name, it's because I can actually say the name without going into freeze. That is a big step for me. The fact that I can say the name out loud without my nervous system going into freeze and a panic attack, that is a massive win for me. I just want to like anchor that in, that I can actually do that. That's amazing, because before I would just like say GBS or like say the infection, but now it's like I can face it and I can talk about it. So that's a massive win. So go me. So the same is true with your money. No matter what your past is, your nervous system can relearn safety, And you can create a future where money supports your freedom, where money supports your lifestyle, where money supports your fuck yeah life. But that needs to start very, very, very slowly, and it needs to your goals need to be broken down. If you need my help, you can always work with me inside of my Money Magic Mentorship Program. It is a one-on-one coaching program and it goes for 10 weeks. I can also drop in the link to that if you're curious in the show notes. So that's it for today, my love. Thank you so much for listening. If this was helpful, feel free to drop me an email, drop me a line on Instagram. My Instagram is at Nadine Zumot, NADINEZUMOT. And also, it'd be really cool if you could leave me a review on Apple Podcasts. I would really appreciate that. So that's it for now. Love you and leave you. And I will see you next time on Unfuck Your Money. Bye for now.